little pig.
It's that time of year again. The time when children are encouraged to knock on strangers' doors and ask for candy, girls dress up as cats, and those of us that feel we're too old for those two things, not me, decide to scare ourselves into oblivion by watching horror movies or playing horror games. There's plenty to choose from this Halloween, and this is my list of my favourite horror games that still keep me up at night months after playing them. A word of warning though, this video may contain a few spoilers. We kick this list off with the brilliantly atmospheric Until Dawn, a game which has you play as multiple different characters in a cabin in the woods scenario. Until Dawn is full of jump scares, gory scenes, and life or death decisions which are scary enough on their own. Throw in the mysterious murderer that's on the loose, and the horrifying Wendigos, and you have yourself a great horror experience. What makes this game so great though, other than seeing Hayden Panettiere in a towel?
Hello? Guys? What are you doing out there? Being creepy. Okay.
And the horror so intense is the relationships you create with the characters. Very early on, you will start to formulate opinions on these characters. For example, if you're like me, you will very soon realise that you love Chris, but you hate Emily. So when your favourite character, i.e. Chris, is being chased down by a Wendigo, or in another life-threatening scenario, the horror feels 10 times worse. The game does a terrific job of making you feel like every single decision is important, and it really is, and that's what makes this game so terrifying. The second entry on the list is a little game called Dead Space. Arguably the game that saved the horror game genre, and almost killed it again with Dead Space 3. The original game left 15-year-old me with nightmares for months. Yes, I played this game underage, don't shoot me, shoot my parents. When you first catch a glimpse of the space station, it's very clear that something isn't right, and it's not too long before your first terrifying encounter with a necromorph, with its dauntingly skinny body running towards you like it hasn't been fed in years, and it tries to tear you into tiny pieces. The necromorphs are simply terrifying, so when they jump out of floorboards and ceiling tiles completely unexpectedly, you're more than likely going to need a change of underwear. The space station is full of dark, tight corners, ammunition is limited, and the necromorphs are plenty. The real star of the show for me though is the audio. The sound effects are so compelling yet terrifying. From the hideous screeches of the deadly necromorphs to the crunching sound when you crush their bodies with your foot. Every detail is perfectly crafted to make this horror scenario feel unbelievably realistic, and that makes it so much scarier. Completing this game without having to change underwear once would be a real achievement, one that I am yet to actually accomplish. Slenderman is the third entry on the list, a game which scared me so much that I literally had to put the controller down multiple times to take breaks. Even when I went back to record gameplay for this video, I could only play for 10 minutes before deciding I couldn't take it anymore and turned it off. The 8 pages mission, or chapter, is one of the most traumatizing missions in video games history. As the title of the chapter suggests, you're tasked with finding 8 pages scattered around different landmarks in a forest. Sounds easy, right? And it should be. But I've never been able to find all 8, thanks to Slenderman's freakishly tall and pale body stalking me in the forest. Every time you look at him, he gets a little bit closer. The camera has a distorted effect every time he's nearby, and the sound effects are absolutely horrifying. Once you've collected 4 or 5 pages, the intensity really kicks in. You can immediately sense a change in music, and you know you're in trouble. He starts to appear much more frequently now, and he's so close to you that you can start to see the details in his definitely a custom made suit, because he is way too tall for a normal suit. He's not even doing much. He's just standing there watching you. He's not chasing you. He hasn't even got a weapon trying to kill you. He's just silently standing there, yet he's undescribably terrifying. You can't help but feel a sense of urgency to escape, and your heart starts beating out of your chest and you're screaming constantly. Wait, maybe that's just me. Because every time you turn, he's there. Closer and closer every time. And that is just the first mission. Needless to say, Slenderman is a truly horrifying experience. The penultimate entry on this list is Alien Isolation, a game which tricks you into thinking it's going to be a breeze, as the first hour is simply a leisurely tour of the space station as you remember it from the films. However, as soon as the alien first climbs down from the air vent, the game suddenly becomes a constant nightmare. A typical horror game has the safety points where you know you're safe. For example, in Dead Space, when you found somewhere to upgrade your weapons, or in Slenderman, whenever you was outside in the sunshine, which, to be fair, is not often. Alien Isolation does not have this. The alien can kill you whenever and wherever he likes. Or she, I'm not too sure. And the realism is scarily outstanding. The way it looks, the way it sounds, and the way it moves is annoyingly perfect. And I say annoyingly because it just makes the game so much more terrifying. You feel like you're actually on the station. You feel absolutely helpless. I remember a section of the game where I literally sat in a locker for a minimum of 30 minutes, terrified to leave this locker in case the alien would jump out and stab me in the back with his tail. Then the developers had the cheek to add a trophy which involved completing the game without dying. Nice joke. So we finally reached the last entry on this list, and it is definitely the most scary game for me, which is Outlast. Now, anyone who knows me well will know that Outlast is my favourite horror game by a mile. I remember first playing this game when I was at university. It was a free game from PSN that month, so I thought it's probably not going to be that great, but I'll give it a go. 10 minutes later, I've had countless jump scares, encounters with some of the most horrifying enemies I've ever experienced, and have been chased by said enemies with the scariest but most brilliant music to add the sense of horror and emergency. The setting is absolutely terrifying, a failed mental asylum, and the patients are far more than just mental. They're sick and twisted. Some of them won't even try and hurt you, but they will jump at you and scare the absolute living daylights out of you, or even just make you feel uneasy throughout the whole game. The whole atmosphere is incredibly well crafted to make you feel unsafe the whole time you play, and being armed with just a camera recorder adds to that feeling. You can't attack the enemies back, all you can do is run and hide. Similar to Alien Isolation, but you do have weapons in that game, but it's honestly the most gruesome game of hide and seek you will ever play. I can still hear the enemies walking around the corridors with the guy with the chains, I can't remember his name, but the guy with the chains, that sound always ingrained in my brain, chasing me around the game. Outlast 2 is equally excellent and terrifying, but I chose the original Outlast for this list as it has a special, yet unwanted place in my heart, as the game that haunts me the most. I remember getting stuck on sections and not playing it for months on end because every time I thought about it I was genuinely too terrified to put myself through it again. It's very rare for a game to scare me that much that I can't play it, and Outlast achieved that countless times. So there we have it, my 5 favourite horror games. Just making this video is probably going to leave me with nightmares tonight. What are your favourite horror games? Have I left your favourite out? I know quite a few would probably go with the old Resident Evil games, or even Resident Evil 7. Unfortunately, I have not been able to play those games. I'm planning on playing Resident Evil 7, so maybe I'll have to update this list once I've played that. Let me know in the comments what your favourite horror games are, if I've missed any, or if the ones I've said maybe are. Let me know why, your favourite experiences in the horror games. I hope you have a great Halloween. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this where I list my favourite whatnots, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you next time.